What's up, everybody? Johnny here. Today I want to do my video I said I was going to do about the 68 comeback special, spotlighting it, seeing that it is the 50th anniversary of the 68 comeback, also known as the NBC special called Elvis. I just want to talk about the history of it and really how it saved his career. So, as we all know, by 1968, if you know the history of it, Elvis was kind of in a career slump. He was stuck in the movies most of the decade. Um, Albums weren't selling as well. Singles weren't selling as well. So Elvis needed a change, and I think the '68 special came right in time because let me switch out. I'm gonna be switching out visuals here and then. So let me show you. So and last number one single he had was from 1962, and that was "Good Luck Charm." And I think his last top 10 hit was "Crying in the Chapel" the year before in '67. So and then the last number one album he had was in 1964, and it was a soundtrack album, which was Rouseabout. So, and if you look at the time, because around the time when all these groups were starting to be more mainstream, like the Stones and the Beatles, and all these groups that were coming in from overseas, and by that time the music scene had changed, and Elvis was kind of like not in anymore. He was out of date. And if you look at the rest of the sales, the album charts and single charts, it was showing on Elvis's chart placements of his singles. I mean, they were just his albums were getting lower and lower down the charts, and so was his singles for the most part. So I think the '68 special came just in time, and I think a lot of people would agree that it saved his career, and he made some of the best. Started making some of the best music of his life in a while. So, and up to this point, Elvis wasn't in front of an audience for about 7 years. The last time he was in front of an audience, a live audience, was in 1961, in March of '61, during the charity show for the not Honolulu, Pearl Harbor. I'm not sure if it was Honolulu though, but in Hawaii for the USS Arizona terrible concert for the Pearl Harbor attacks. So that was the last thing he did as far as a live performance. And the last time he was on television is when he came back from the Army in 1960 on the Welcome Home Elvis special on Frank Sinatra Timex show he had. And that was actually the last episode, I think, of Frank Sinatra's own variety show he had. So that was a good way to go out. But it was also cool to see two entertainers on the big screen or on the together during a one performance, which was crazy because they were like some of the two biggest guys in the industry. So, anyways, all right. So I'm gonna talk about the history of the special now. So the history of the special. Well, the history, as far as I know, I'm doing this naturally. I'm not trying to look up stuff or anything like that. As far as I know, the '68 special go as far back as about fall of 1967. Negotiations were in about this special, and of course we all know, if you know the story behind the '68 special. I'm just gonna say the TV special. I'm not gonna keep saying that. The TV special is Colonel Parker wanted it really to be a Christmas one, and the guys that were involved, like the producer Bob Finkel, a few other guys, I can't remember their names, and of course the director ended up being Steve Bender. But they thought otherwise. They thought maybe it was really a good chance for him to revive his career. This Elvis wasn't too excited about the special until he started talking to the producer and the director and maybe ideas they had, and he started getting more excited. Because I think, of course, Elvis didn't really express it like that and to public because he didn't do a lot of interviews, but I'm sure he missed being in the spotlight in front of an audience because by this time he felt like he wasn't in anymore. I mean, like I said, stuff was showing in the sales charts and everything, and the album charts and all that. So, so when 1968 came around, fast forward, 1968 came around, and they started doing the pre-production of the special. They started making a script, hiring dancers, and making the costumes and all that. And while that was happening, Elvis was on vacation, relaxing, getting a tan, preparing for the special for him as far as physically. And And when he came back, as we see him on the big screen, we saw him on the big screen recently in movie theaters. He looked amazing. It's probably the best he ever looked in his life, and honestly, the best he ever sounded. This is the time, my favorite time period of Elvis's voice. His voice just sounds so much more mature than it did, of course, earlier in the '60s and definitely in the '50s. His voice just had a certain depth to it, and he just sounded amazing. So, so then, really, in June of 1968, the production started on the TV special. So basically, everything was done. The main stuff was done in 10, 11 days, from June 20th to June 23rd. Elvis was in the studio recording all the material for the special. Some of it was used, some of it was unused. And Elvis was nervous doing that because actually, and it was a first for Elvis, which he would do later on in his life all the time, it was play with an orchestra live in the studio with him. So Elvis felt really uncomfortable about that, but he pulled it off as usual. He doubted himself, but he did pull it off. So then the 24th and 25th of June was really just rehearsals for the special, and he rehearsed. And during that time, there's 2 rehearsals that was recorded from Steve Bender. He had a little tape recorder he had in Elvis's dressing room, and he recorded what him and his buddies were rehearsing and singing to get an idea of what to do with the special. So that's what he did. And then the next, from the 26th to the 30th, that included recording both the stand-up shows and then both of the sit-down shows and all the production numbers like the road medley and the gospel medley and what else? And the If I Can Dream segment. Those are the main things I can think of right now. And then the 30th, it wrapped up. And then in December of 3rd of 1968, right before Christmas and right after Thanksgiving, the '68 special played, and it ended up being a huge hit for him. It was the best reviews he had in a long time. He was very happy with what he accomplished. He attracted 42% of the viewing audience of TV, and it was the highest rated special either of the season or of the year. I'm not sure, but it did great. And now I'm going to talk about the visual part, what's available of the '68 special. Okay, so I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to do the music part. So, anyways, this is my picture of Elvis I have. I had this for a long time. Obviously, it's from the '68 special. This picture I had for years. I love this. One of my favorites. I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I decided to keep this one because I thought it was cool looking. Good pose. Alright, so obviously since the '68 special, all the stuff has been released as far as visual. So first, I'm going to talk about some 2 DVDs, which I showed already on here basically, of the '68 special you can get. This one came out in 2004. It's a deluxe version of the '68 comeback special. Let me move this. 3-disc set of it came out in 2004. At the same time, the Aloha from Hawaii special came out too. So there you go. I'm going to show inside this book and read out some stuff. Tell you what's available. And this you can get on Elvis.com. Okay, I think it's like $50, but it's totally worth it. I just hope soon we get a Blu-ray release. So hopefully we'll get a Blu-ray release. And I think we're way overdue for an HD version of the '68 special and of Aloha. But we're going to talk about Aloha in another video. So this is the book. It explains everything. It has, and this, like I said, this set includes everything. Every take, used, unused, all the production numbers, even stuff that didn't even involve Elvis is in here. Like the part, I want to say in like that brothel part of the road medley, like girls with chairs and everything and lounging around. It has stuff, even the unused takes of that, and insert shots, everything. So, well, first on the first disc is the actual original special. But there's one thing I don't get. I just want to point it out. There's one thing I don't get about the original special in this DVD set, which is kind of annoying. On a Road Medley, it doesn't include It Hurts Me in it. And I want to say that's part of the original special. And I don't understand why it's not in here. I heard the reason, but I can't remember why. But to me, it's a stupid reason. It should have been in here, but it's not. But it has basically the original special, other than that, the way it was seen in 1968 in December. Okay, then June 27th, the first sit-down show was shot. So yeah, I want to say it was shot at 6 p.m. that day. And then the second sit-down show was shot at like 8 on the same day, 8 o'clock. And then June 29th, the stand-up shows were both shot. So basically June 27th, when the sit-down shows were shot, this is the first time he was in front of an audience. And then when you watch the first sit-down show, you can see that he was nervous. You can see it in his face, but he actually got comfortable pretty quickly. Probably because his friends that were around him and his old bandmates, that probably helped him very much. So, so that. And then on disc 2, it has the TV openings and closings of the show. So it has all the takes, used, unused. And then it has, and there's a closing of the show. He only did about 4 takes for If I Can Dream segment. And then the promo, this I guess in 68 on NBC, you know the boing, 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 they have, at the end of it they were going to put, like from All Shook Up. And Elvis has a recording doing that. And then closing credits without the credit rolls, footage. Then there's a special music video included of If I Can Dream, mixer with the black leather and the white suit he did. And the DVD credit rolls, okay. And then disc 3 is basically all the raw takes and components of the special. Like of the gospel number, the Guitar Man production number, and everything else. Every single segment. So this is really worth getting. It really is. But it's a shame we haven't got a Blu-ray release yet. And who knows when we will. So, but if for some reason you don't want to get that, feel like you can't afford it or it's too pricey or whatever, you can get this. This is a single disc. And let me correct myself what I said when I did the review of the movie. You can get this at Elvis.com. I apologize. You can. It's $24.99. You might as well spend like $25 more and get the 3-disc set. But it's whatever you're happy with. But yeah, this is from 2006. It's like an expanded version of the TV special. It's like an hour and a half. So, and it has a bonus features of a photo gallery and basically blooper reel from the making of the special, which you can find all that stuff in their entirety on the other disc set, on the other DVD set. So, now let's talk about the music. So we're going to go back to doing the music. So before the 68 special came out, I'm using my albums as a visual. I have. Since it was sponsored by Singer Sewing Machines, the special, Singer Sewing Machine Stores released this. It's a low budget release. It later came out on the Candom label through RCA in 69, early 69. But this actually has, and at the time, unreleased of the special song here was Tiger Man. So, anyway, this is the back of the album. But this is the original pressing, the first pressing that was only available in Singer stores. And the way you know is the catalog number is PRS 279. So if you have that back here and it doesn't have the Candom on here at all, you probably have the Singer release that somebody bought in stores back in the day. So, and another way how you can tell is, still have the RCA, regular sleeves at the time, but it doesn't have the orange label. It has like this mustard colored one, so, which is nice. And this is in very good shape. I had this for years, so very fortunate to get a nice copy. Because I feel like as time goes on, just like everything else, when stuff gets older, it's harder to find stuff in good shape. And yeah, and here at the bottom, is advertising the special on the album. And this album came out in, I want to say, October of '68. Mid to late, maybe late October of '68. So that's that. And then I want to say this single came out. This came out, I want to say, a little bit before the album did. And it's If I Can Dream single, which is written especially for this special. This was really, I think, the B. I'm not sure which one was a B-side. I want to say If I Can Dream was a B-side, but on the other side was Edge to Reality, which is from Live a Little, Love a Little, which is actually a good soundtrack song. There's two variations of this sleeve. I don't know which, I can't remember which one's rare, but another variation is advertising the '68 TV special. So, there you go. So this came out, and this single ended up reaching number 12 on the charts. So, and it was a pretty successful single for Elvis at the time. Alright. So I want to say this came out in November. Mid-November of '68. And then the actual album came out for the special about 2 weeks before it aired, to see what you were going to hear. To hear what you're going to see, I mean. So this is the original album I have of the '68 special. It's in good shape. Had this for a while now. Like I said, I started collecting Elvis when I was about, I don't know, 12, 13, maybe 14. So, and I'm almost 30 now, so I was able to build up a nice, solid collection at a very young age. Very fortunate. So, here's this, the original vinyl. And that's the circle in the middle, on the circle part on the label. So this shows that it's an early pressing. It is like a 1S, 2S pressing of this album. So it's a pretty early pressing. And it's in good shape. I really don't listen to my albums. If anything, I listen to them about once. Then that's it. You know. They serve just more of a sentimental collector value than actually playing them. So there you have it. And this, I think this ended up reaching number 8 on the charts. So this was a successful album for Elvis. Then it's more recent, because if you look at the soundtrack albums of Elvis, they were like in the 40s. They were literally going down every release, like 40, 50, 60. I think the last one that came out was a Speedway album, and it was like number maybe maybe in the 80s. I don't know, but still, that's horrible. It's Elvis. What the hell? So that came out. So in conclusion, I'm going to show some other stuff, though. Actually, let me just show this. And then the other single from the special was Memories. This is, apparently it was by request. It was the B-side of Charo that came out in 1969. So this came out in about April of '69. And this reached number 35 on the charts, Memories. So not as much of an impact as If I Can Dream. But, and then, since, you know, the special was successful, it inspired Elvis to do better songs and get back in the studio, and he wanted to tour again and all that stuff. And as you can see, it's already advertising from Elvis in Memphis coming soon. So, there you go. Memories. So in conclusion, I just think, and I think that many people probably agree, first of all, this was the best that Elvis looked in his life, I think. And it's the best that he ever sounded in his life. I think the peak of his voice was about 68 to 70. It was still a tad strong at 72, 73. After that, I felt like his voice started to falter a little bit. But, I mean, I still like his music in that time, and even the rest of the 70s. But anyways, and it just reminded people what Elvis was capable of, and it reminded people that he was still cool. He can still keep up with the new scene, but yet be original, you know, be himself. So, and that's what he always did. I think he always tried to be himself. And I think it was a great risk he took. It could have went good, it could have went bad. But, and And it's probably a lot of people like this period of Elvis. I think a lot of people think this is his greatest period, considered the comeback years. But he never left. He just wasn't big anymore, like he was in the 50s and early 60s. It's really, like I said, music change. Psychedelic rock is coming in around this time. You know, all these acts like the Doors, and Jimi Hendrix was out, and just think of all the bands and artists that were out at that time. The hippie movement too, all that stuff. But anyways, there you go. That's it for that. Now I want to talk about the audio side. So there's a lot of releases you can get of Elvis, of material of the '68 special. I'm gonna start with this one. In '98, this came out. The Memories '68 comeback special. So, and this is still a good companion. I'm gonna explain in a minute after I show the other release. But this still has stuff that you really can't get anywhere else. Maybe you can get on a new FTD, one of the FTD releases. I know it's on the gospel release too. This gospel release that came out maybe a couple years after this. But I'm gonna explain in a minute. But this is a 2-disc set, came out in '98 for the 30th anniversary. It's a really good set. Still holds justice, I think. Some of the mastering is iffy in some spots. Some of the music overpowers his voice, but all in all, it's not too bad. But then 10 years later, during the 40th, they came out with this 4-disc set of the album. It includes, the original album, both stand-up and both sit-down shows, and then the rehearsals that Steve Bender recorded. Both of the rehearsals he recorded in Elvis's dressing room on '68 special. So that's the original album. This is the first stand-up and sit-down, third stand-up and sit-down, and the rehearsal. There you go. So, and why I say you should keep this, because on the gospel medley, on the 40th anniversary, it doesn't have the complete gospel medley. It doesn't have Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, sung by Darlene Love. And on the road melody, it doesn't include Hurts Me on the 2008. So that's why I recommend keeping this. And then, of course, there's the FTD release, which I really want. And the FTD release of the albums, of the classic album series, of the special album, of this one. And there's a Let Yourself Go release, basically the making of the '68 special. So, but actually, if you get the FTD classic album series of the original album, it includes basically the Let Yourself Go and then plus more stuff. So I just recommend getting the classic album series. You don't need to get the Let Yourself Go release. So yeah, I'm kind of rushing it a little bit because I don't want to be going forever. I'm already almost at 25 minutes, but I just wanted to do a spotlight on Elvis's '68 comeback, and I just did it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm just going to show these real quick, and I'm going to shut it off. This is a reissue from the 80s of the '68 comeback album, or the original soundtrack album. Here's a Record Store Day release. Yeah, that's it. And this is a Record Store Day release I got that's affiliated with the comeback special, The King in the Ring. Just came out in April. So, anyways, hope you all enjoyed this. Hope maybe you got some information you didn't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I appreciate everybody watching who's going to watch. And subscribers I got in the comments, good or bad. I don't care. It's all awesome. Okay? So thank you all for tuning in. And I may see you all next time. I may do a spotlight by request of one of my subscribers of the Law from Hawaii special. So I'm going to prepare for that maybe. Okay? So I'll see y'all later. Bye.